A Flowering Tree, A Woman's Tale. Here is a brief summary of short paper by A.K. Ramanujan. Introduction. In his paper, A.K. Ramanujan analyzes a Kannada folktale from southern India about a young woman with the magical power to transform into a flowering tree. He explores the deeper cultural symbolism and gender dynamics within the tale, placing it in the broader context of Indian women's expressive traditions. Ramanujan was one of the foremost experts on South Asian folklore and literature. This paper reflects his nuanced interpretive skills as well as his focus on revealing perspectives often overlooked by male-centric academic discourse. The story. Ramanujan first recounts the folktale in detail prior to his analysis. It centers on two sisters living in poverty with their widowed mother. The younger sister tells her elder sister that in order to help lessen their mother's burden, she will turn herself into a flowering tree. The elder can then sell the flowers to earn money. She explains the magical process step by step, the need to properly prepare the space, pour sanctified water over her as she meditates to become the tree in back to human form. With gentle care, her sister can then collect blossoms without harming the tree. After the successful first transformation, they carry out the ritual for 5 more days, hiding the profits to ultimately surprise their mother. However, the king's son grows curious about the exquisite flowers brought daily to the palace. He secretly witnesses the metamorphosis himself from a hiding spot. The king subsequently seeks the younger daughter's hand for his son's marriage. At first unwilling, the widow mother agrees to royal decree. Newly wed, the cold prince finally speaks on the third silent night, demanding his wife transform for him. Obliging her husband's wishes nights thereafter, the used flowers pile up high outside their window. The youngest princess begs her new sister-in-law for flowers leading to the dangerous group outing. Despite pleas not to injure her tree form, the young girls tear branches in reckless haste before the incomplete reversal leaving her mutilated. Her partial form ultimately floats to her elder sister's city. In climax, her visiting brother does not recognize her as the palace's caretaker until she tells him her tale. Reenacting the ritual together restores her human shape. The tale concludes with the evil young princess meeting a gruesome punishment for her misdeeds. Symbolism of the tree and flowering. Ramanujan illuminates the rich cultural symbolism interweaving feminine sexuality, fertility, and botanical motifs like flowers. In Sanskrit and other Indian languages, the same term connotes both female reproductive functions and flowering. A menstruating woman is in flower. The physical blossoming of sexuality finds tangible manifestation in the heroine's magical flowering tree metamorphosis. He notes village customs of delicately interacting with growing plants also linked to similar gentle treatment of women. The tale at once celebrates the creativity embodied in her power yet underscores vulnerabilities it concurrently engenders. Her flowering not only means beauty but also exposure, as graphically portrayed through the violence enacted upon her arboreal form. However, Ramanujan points to the ambiguity allowing for both exaltation and anxiety over feminine generative energy. The cyclic blossoming, coupled with the cyclicity of the tale structure, analogizes a larger natural order. Examining power and agency. Becoming a mute, immobilized tree disempowers the heroine wherein she lacks agency to prevent being forcibly exploited, much like broader gender inequities within a patriarchy deny women authority over their own lives and bodies. Ramanujan astutely perceives that female speech portends restored agency by each tale's conclusion. The capacity to share their own perspectives, tell their own stories transforms silent subjects into vocal agents. The daughter-in-law endures grave injuries due to not having a voice to refuse her sister-in-law's demands, in contrast to the voluntary initial flowering she chooses herself. Only at the end, in speaking openly to her husband, can she regain wholeness on her own terms through the flowering ritual. Ramanujan suggests her coherent narration of events leading the prince to finally recognize his wife and her diminished state serves an awakening function for male auditors as well regarding female experiences. Situating women's folktales. Ramanujan discusses how gender determines divergences in folkloric form, themes and meanings between men and women's oral tales. Women's tales frequently highlight female protagonists navigating oppressive gender hierarchy and conflict among female kin and in-laws. The victimized heroine reclaims some control over her life by a tale's conclusion. Another variant involves winning back an errant husband's affection. By contrast, men's adventures drive masculine tales, slaying demons, vanquishing enemies, and winning a princess. Ramanujan contends female-oriented folk materials remain integral for fully appreciating Indian women's expressions less acknowledged by hegemonic discourses. Giving critical attention toward gender in interpreting cultural texts can reveal wholly distinctive symbolic universes split along gender lines despite superficial similarities. His analytical approach effectively deconstructs the notions of singular, universal meaning often presupposed when applying interpretative models rooted in dominant paradigms created by men. Ramanujan opens up awareness of the divergent vantage points through which situated knowledges encoded within subaltern women's genres can be better elucidated. Conclusion. In this seminal essay, Ramanujan provides masterful elucidation of a single folk narrative example to expound multi-layered insights around the interlacing themes of gender, power and orality in Indian cultural contexts. He cogently argues for significance of foregrounding female-focused source materials and gender positionality regarding more fully comprehending Indian civilizational expressions. His discussion remains highly relevant for feminist analyses interrogating dynamics of authority manifesting across artistic forms, belief systems and knowledge production itself. Ramanujan proves a powerful model demonstrating how deep scholarship coupled with ethical orientation unveils injustices often lying obscured.